Alright, hey y'all, hey. I think I'm live. I tried to go live several times and it kept telling me reconnect, join again, so I switched devices. I don't know, we'll see if that works. But of course that made me last minute, so I didn't get to put in my description and stuff. So how y'all doing tonight? I'll try to get myself shared around. We are here to do some door decor. Of course, I love wreaths and stuff, but I'm actually not going to do a wreath tonight, so I hope maybe that'll shock you. So thanks for joining me. Hop on in. We're going to get shared around here real soon. I don't want to hear myself again. How are y'all doing on this Friday night? Hi, Cheryl. How are ya? All right, I'm going to share myself too. And just figure I can help myself out, right? All right, so it almost defeated me, y'all. Facebook almost defeated me. I tried to log in a couple of times and it kept telling me, try to reconnect. All right, hi Nancy. All right, hi Jamie, hi. All right, so we're getting shared in. It's 6:30. I have 30 minutes, Eastern time that is. So I'm in a little thing with Craft Around the Clock called your door decor. And so if you've been watching and following that along today, it's been fantastic. A lot of different ideas about what to do for your door. A lot of door hangers and baskets, interior doors, exterior doors, all the cool things. So I thought it was only fitting. I know I make wreaths and all of that stuff, and that would probably be the expected thing, but I'm actually going to do what was my first ever kind of piece that I ever made for my own door, and I made it out of a pool noodle. So I have a couple of videos on some things that I've made with a pool noodle. This was made with a pool noodle back here. This is a swag. So I'm going to show you how I do it, walk you through some things, and we'll make what I will display on my own door as a garland. It'll look kind of like a garland, but y'all, pool noodles, you could do anything. So this is where it started. I'm going to show you where we go next. All right, and I only have 30 minutes, so if I miss your comments, I promise I'll go back and I'll answer any questions you have or anything. But my name is Heather with Velvet and Vines Designs, so thanks for joining me. We're gonna mess with that pool noodle. All right, so how I started, I got a pool noodle. I actually got several of these for Halloween projects, so I had purple and orange, and that's what I had left over. But I'm gonna make this into what will be, my front door has two smaller doors on each side of it. I'm just giving you an idea. And so this is going to go like this above my front door. Okay. So what I've done though, I've been working with pool noodles for a couple of years, and they make fantastic bases. It's $1. Can't beat that, right? It's its own foam. You can put any kind of stem or whatever into this, right? You can wrap things around it, lights around it, all the things. It's really cool. The sky's the limit with what you could do with this. But what I have found is when you need it to withstand weather and things like that, that it can get a little weak. So what I've started to do, which has worked out really well for me, is super cost efficient, is at the Dollar Plus store, you can get chicken wire like this. And I just take that and just, with the most elaborate tool there is, the zip tie, and I just put that on just the side of that will be facing, you know, where I'll put the flowers and things like this. This side of it will go against the wall, right? So that's what I do, just use 3 zip ties down the side. And what I did to the ends is I cut it just a little bit short, and I can show you here. And then I just literally take the wire and I poke it into the foam like that. Then I bend it down, and then that's how I start kind of making it mold. Okay, and then that way you don't have any wire sticking out on the end that it can cut you. So think about things like that, you know, because later you're going to forget how you made this. You're going to want to grab it and take it down, and there's nothing worse than this wire getting underneath of a fingernail. So just make sure you take those steps. But then this is what you'll be left with. So you can see here how that wire goes the whole way around. I just use the 3 zip ties, and I always make sure that the buttons are always on the back, right? Okay, so that's that. Then I have burlap, just regular old burlap. So now I'm gonna point you down, right? And we're gonna have some fun. So this is ugly purple. You know, you can buy them on Amazon in any color you want to, but I'm stuck with what I got, and we're crafters, and so we make do, right? So I had just regular burlap that I got at the Hobby Lobby, and I just cut out a piece that's big enough for me to cover up this whole piece and just give myself a little bit on the end here. So I don't know if you can see that. There we go. So you can see how I have enough give here on the end, because what we're going to do when we're done is we're going to stick it in the center. Okay, so that's how we're going to disguise it. All right, so actually this part is pretty ordinary, right? I'm just going to use some hot glue and then actually a couple of zip ties after, and those zip ties I'll also use to hang them when I hang it up outside. You can tell I've done this a couple of times. So now I can check some comments and stuff. So I'm going to make sure you have a good view, and I'll try to make sure that I give you. All right, so if you have any questions, or better yet, you know, we're all crafters here. If anybody has, hey Misty, hey girl. If anybody has any ideas of things they've done with pool noodles and you want to share it in here, please, by all means. I love ideas. I love pool noodles. I've used them for like centerpieces. I've used them for so many things. Actually, let me protect my fingers. So any ideas? I mean, other than laying on them in the pool, you know, obviously, right? Hi, Doreen. Hi, Denise. Thank you so much for spreading around. I love that. Thank you. Again, my name is Heather with Velvet and Vines Design. I live in Maryland, right on the coast, closer to Virginia. It's really crappy weather here today. It's raining and all the things, but rain or not, Friday's fantabulous. Well, I mean, unless you're in the service industry, then I know that this is like really your time, right? But for me, I'm in the corporate world by day. This is my woohoo moment, right? Hi, Marie. Oh, is it terrible there too? Yeah, it just is not a pretty day here. I've heard that a lot of people across the country have had some really yucky weather. So any of you that are just joining in, you know what we're working with here is a pool noodle. This is going to be our fantabulous base for a garland that I'm going to make for over top of my door. I'm going to call it a garland. It could be kind of like a swag because it's just going to hang over top of it. Just some cool things that I'm going to use. I have some hydrangea. Like I said, I live on the coast. My whole theme and vibe is coastal, so it does look like a beach threw up every inch of my house. So everything is going to be blue. Yes, I know, blue and white, so boring, but it is what it is. It's my jam. It's my mojo. So you can see here, all I'm doing is wrapping this burlap around, and I'm just gluing it, and I'm just keeping the bead of glue. Oops, actually, nope, I just lied. There we go. I'm making sure that the bead of glue is always going to be not where that chicken wire is. I want to make sure that there's only one layer of burlap over that chicken wire so that all of my stems and things like that can pierce through easily. They will. As long as there's one layer and not two. The other thing is I don't want any hot glue there so that my stems could get hung up on dried hot glue, right? So this is just like I'm just wrapping a burrito, basically. That's all I'm doing. And I'll cut off the excess, and you're not gonna see any of this. It's all gonna be, hidden on the back of your wall, but it's just good to have it covered, have it nice and clean. You're excited to see how this turns out. So let me tell you about the first piece I ever made. So I have no problems telling you all about my mistakes, and I make fun of myself quite regularly, but I had started watching the Fancy Front Door. Her name is Jackie. And if any of you have ever seen any of the designs that she does, I mean, they are so beautiful. And you can never really tell you know, where what was underneath of it, because it's just so lush and so beautiful. Well, she had made a swag. And she posted this swag, and I mean, I was just like in love. And I was like, oh, I had no idea that you could buy a swag base, y'all. I'm pretty sure I Googled it, because I'm not like, you know, I can manage. I'm a pretty good shopper. But I must not have either used the right words, or maybe I didn't even know it was called a swag. I don't know, y'all. It was really early in my journey. It was several years ago. And so I thought to myself, oh, I can make that. And the only thing I could figure that would be big enough that would hold all the things was if I took a pool noodle and I molded it almost like an awareness ribbon without, like, don't think like it had long tails, but it, you know, it did cross over like an awareness ribbon. And then I wrapped it in Garland, so it gave me the big shape and the big base. I made the biggest swag on that thing. I still have it. I love it. So that was my start with the pool noodle, and it just opened my eyes. Of course, then I found out that you could just buy a swag base for like $9 online. So, you know, it was just the learning process. So all I do on the end here is I just tuck it right into the pool noodle itself. And then I'll go down to this end. So this is just kind of like wrapping a present, y'all. I don't need this much on the end. So this will give me a base, this burlap, that I won't care if it's a little bit exposed. So I'm not going to be overly, you know, like as I start to put in my florals and things like that. Like my front porch has burlap and rope and things like that, jute on it. So it's totally going to fit in. All right, I'm going to go. All right, so this is the wire right here. You can almost see how it's textured. So you can see now it's pretty fully colored. And I'll go back through here, you know, obviously before I hang it up, I'll make sure that's nice and secure, but just so we can get going. And then what I'll do when I'm done is I'll go ahead and I'll finish this off with another bead of glue. But just so we can get going, I'm gonna flip this over. So what I do here though, I actually do use 2 sets of zip ties. Actually, for my door, I need 3. And I go ahead and I set myself up to hang it. So remember, this is the wire that I want to put my picks in. So let me flip it upside down. And I use the clear so it's not quite so obvious. And if I get hung up on that, I've used ribbon or things like that. Here, I'll go here. Sorry about that. And so here, all I'm doing is I'm making my hanger. So I'm just homemade making it, y'all. With a zip tie, putting another one in, just like you would like if you were making a wreath and attaching a sign or something like that. And then that way, when I go outside, I have these anchors that I keep up because I constantly put up garlands and things like that. When I go outside, I already am ready to attach it. But say you wanted this to be like on a stair railing or a banister, you could also do it that way. And if you cut it in half, it's a really cool, help me out on my words, mailbox swag. That's what I wanted to say. All right, so I'm setting myself up for success here by just putting these in now. I have learned the hard way. And that's why I try to point these little things out to you as I go, because trust me, I've gotten all excited. Anybody else a DIYer that gets like that, like you think you've problem solved through everything and then you go out there and you're like, I did not think about that. Why didn't I think about that? So I've made quite a few of these in all kinds of ways. So let me help you. So really what that chicken wire does, just so we're really clear, a couple of things. So the floral wires and things like that we put in, like if you use anything that's a heavier flower, like a magnolia or big hydrangeas or things like that, that chicken wire will help your pool noodle from like wrinkling and just kind of losing its shape, but only use it if you want to keep that kind of like, for, you know, a little bit of a firmness, and not, you know, if you want it to mold around like a corner or something like that, make like a corner swag, then keep that in mind and where you put your wire. Okay. All right. So now I'm just going to flip it upside down, or well, not upside down, but so now you see I'm all set. I've got all of my little anchors on there. Oh, let me go ahead and cut these off. Sorry. All right, and then Now we're gonna come in with the fun part. And you just do this part just like you would a wreath, just like it. Dip the stems in hot glue. The hot glue goes, or the stem goes right into the foam, and there you go. All right, so I'm gonna show you the flowers that we're working with tonight. And so for those of you that have just joined us, we are making a pool noodle door garland. All right, let me make sure I'm good on time. Okay, 15 minutes. All right, so the first part that I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna work with, because I love greenery and I know that I use a lot of it. And I know that sometimes that can be a little intimidating and how to pick out all the various types of greenery. So what I did this time to make things simpler, and also because of time, is I bought a garland that already has greenery on it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna attach this garland to this pool noodle. And so it's gonna give me a nice base like this, okay? So I just wanna make sure my ends are about even. Let me go down a little bit more. There we go. And I'm just gonna use zip ties. This is gonna be the tool of the night, zip ties. And if I get hung up, oops, sorry about that. If I get hung up on seeing any of the zip ties or anything like that, and I'm just going right through the angel vine on this, by the way. I know you can't see that, but I'm just going whoop, right through the angel vine and right around the pool noodle. If I get hung up on any of that, I always go back to like ribbon or something like that. And I'll use like a 1-inch burlap ribbon and I'll go around the zip ties to hide them and disguise them and make them kind of blend in with the piece. But normally when I'm done, you don't even see them because of all the flowers and the other ribbon that I put in. All right, so this is angel vine. Like I said, I just go right through it and then just attach it right to the pool noodle. It's so easy. Now, a lot of times if I'm doing my own greenery, like in the winter time, I'm using like cedar and things like that, I do it by pick. So I'll get like a pick of cedar and I'll put each individual piece in. But I thought for tonight, and just for the sake of also, you know, again, it's intimidating sometimes picking out all this greenery and making it all work, is that we'll start with something super easy, like a garland, and we can show you how to spruce this up. And this is like a really kind of thin, flimsy garland. So if you're wondering, like, why are we putting a garland on a pool noodle? It's a base. It's gonna be more substance. There's a lot more flowers coming into this. I love pool noodles, Rebecca. I'm gonna tell you right now. So right now I'm doing a series on Pinterest, and it's for weddings. But one of the things that I showed in one of them is, because you know when you're doing something for a wedding and you're trying to save money, one of the things that you could do are your table pieces. And that was one of the things I showed, is using a pool noodle, because where else could you get your base? And if you cut this in thirds or even fourths really and use them for your bases, for your like table pieces, I mean, where else can you get a base for 20 some cents? You can't. So like, they're just so underrated. Now here's the one thing, designing on them is a little cumbersome, but come on, it's $1, so it's like you pay for it, right? All right, so what I'm going in with here, I'm gonna turn it this way, okay, because it keeps wanting to. There we go. All right, so here we go. All right, so we're going in with some wisteria. Let's see, check on time. All right, 13 minutes. I'm at least gonna get to show you some of this. We're also gonna do some ribbon. I probably should have asked for more time. I probably should have. All right, so now I'm gonna show you how we took it from pool noodle, now with a burlap base. Now we're gonna go in. We've got a little bit of greenery. Oops. And we're gonna go in now, and we're gonna start to add in some of the flowers. Now, oops. I didn't need this. Sometimes when I'm building things, I don't use hot glue, like when I want to keep it for myself, because I almost always tear things apart to make something else later. Anybody else do that? Like, you reuse and reuse? I mean, we're crafters, come on. So I try to make it easier on myself. But this case, I know where I'm hanging it, it needs It needs hot glue. So you can see here what I'm doing is I'm trying to make on the sides, that will be where the door doesn't really open. Oops. And it just goes in just like floral foam. You hear how easy it goes in? See? So look. There we go. So look. All right, so I'm going to show you some of those. Okay, now I want to go to some of the hydrangeas. I only want to do this to sprinkle around just so that you can get the full effect, because I have a feeling we're going to run out of time. Which is fine, just fine. I'm at least giving you a great base of where to start with an idea, right? And now I want to see Craft Around the Clock page flooded with photos of things you all do with pool noodles, okay? Let's start a whole thing. And it's coming up on summer, y'all, so you know you're about to walk into any Walmart in the free world and find a pool noodle. So have at it. And if you can't find it in the Walmart, then go to the Amazon. Now sometimes I'm like hitting lottery and I actually hit the wire of the chicken wire. Like I said, it's like hitting the lottery, but I do it sometimes. If you need to, you can always do like a feeder hole. What I mean by that is you take something like a screwdriver end or something like that, make the hole first, then go in with your item with the hot glue. I mean, y'all are crafters though, you knew that, right? Sometimes I give you guys silly advice. I think I'm talking to people that don't do this. So you can see here, there we go. Oh, I got some hot glue on me. So look, we're just putting it right into the pool noodle, and that's your base, right? And when we go to hang this up, and we have all of the flowers sprinkled around, no one's really gonna know at all that this was a pool noodle. I have some blue too, so let's play with some blue. And you'll get to see my full, maybe vision of what this was before we get off here today. There's been some great ideas today. I watched, is it Nicole with cowbells and spurs? Like, what an out-of-the-box concept she had. I could already tell that this is a really flimsy end, so that's why I went ahead. And I know that I have a pick machine that y'all don't, but I have to be fast for you, so I'm gonna use it. But again, what I would do if I were you without it is I would, there we go. Now this is a lot stiffer. I would use like a screwdriver. And you can also go into the angel vine that's in the garland that I have there. But really, you don't know, I don't know what you'll pick for maybe your greenery, so I don't want to use that because you might not have that. The whole point is that the pool noodle is your base. So, look, there we go. So I'll have like the wisteria on the ends, and then I'm going to fill in the middle with the hydrangeas. That's kind of my thought. So I'm going to try to keep this so you can see it. And then all the hard part about guessing like what kind of greenery and all of that and mixing in the greenery, it's already done, right? It's already done for me. And I love these like ferns. I got this garland at Michael's, if anybody was wondering. I had a coupon, so I went ahead and used it on some garland. I wouldn't normally do that by Garland, but I wanted to show how easy this can come together. There you go. So there we go. And I love hanging wisteria. I don't know about anybody else, but it's a favorite of mine. All right, let's put some blooms in what will be in the middle, because this will be the other end. So I'll work on that maybe when I'm watching Donna and Brian, or after her. So Donna is my business and creative coach, so I'm really excited that I get to see her next. So maybe I'll finish it up while I'm watching her make something fantastic, I'm certain. So, hey Connie, how are ya? Hey Lois, hey Shar. You did rob Peter to make Paul. Hey, Aunt Roxanne. Hey, and you're with Aunt Joy. Tell her hi. Hi, Tony. And Frank. Did you see Frank? Yeah, he's behind me. He is behind me. Yeah, sorry I'm moving really fast. We're in an event for those of you that are just joining in and you're wondering what in the heck is going on. Heather, what are you doing? Well, I'm making a garland for my own front door. We're in an event tonight with Craft Around the Clock. Y'all know I love my Craft Around the Clock. And we get 30 minutes to show off an idea for how to dress up your door. So I'm showing everybody how I love pool noodles. I love them. So I'm giving away my secrets. All my neighbors are gonna be like, that was a pool noodle? That was a pool noodle. That was a pool noodle, y'all. Now, generally what I'll do is I will sneak in things like, because you know I'm coastal, so I'll go in with things like this, and I do hot glue them, and I'll have them kind of like hidden in here like this. So just so you can kind of get the full effect of what it'll look like. So it'll look like this because I know we only have a couple more minutes. So it'll kind of go above the door, right? If you can kind of envision. So this will finish off with wisteria. This will have more flowers. This will have wisteria. We'll have some seashells in there. And I even have a little fishing net here that I might drape in there before I do ribbon. So that's what I'm really thinking. That's kind of the inspiration here. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, it is. Tony knows, she's been in my house. This is for my house. It's for my front door. Yeah. I wanted to show a little like a DIY using something unexpected and something so cost effective, you know? So, but I wouldn't sell a pool noodle base. It would be no way I could probably ship it. So, yeah, so this is for me. Jazz up my house. And then another thing that's really easy about this, now I know that I'm using blues and whites, and so this makes like an obvious thing to say, but I will, around like Memorial Day, I'll add in pops of red so that I'm automatically set up for patriotic, and I don't have to take anything down. I'll just go out there with my whatever picks already broken down, and I'll just put them in and walk away, and I'll be done. So, and then when I take it down, a lot of times I'll go ahead and dismantle everything. So I'll take off, I'll cut all the zip ties, and I'll take all the pieces off, because 9 times out of 10 the next year, I will completely change this up anyway. So that's how I personally do it. You could, like my holiday garlands, when I store them, I use storage tubs. So if I want to keep them together. So just some thoughts on how to best keep them, things like that. Yeah, so I hope I gave you some ideas. And like I said, like if you like to adorn your mailbox, hey Mary. Yeah, well, can you tell how I learned how to craft? It was out of, I say this all the time, y'all, my story all the time is that it came from, well, it was first with furniture. And it's because I have a champagne taste and a Boone's Farm budget. So it was out of necessity. I wanted all the things. I wanted all the things. But I couldn't afford all the things. So I had to yard sale, or I had to take hand-me-downs that maybe weren't necessarily my style. And then when I would get them home, then I would change them up a little bit. I mean, that's kind of how it started. It was super low key, right? Like I wasn't like at home, like, you know, with like a miter saw or anything, like making anything. No, nothing like that. I was just, you know, I would sand a piece of furniture and put some chalk paint on it or whatever. You know, that was kind of probably how we all started, right? Kind of somewhere in the safe zone and probably something out of necessity. So, all right, we have 2 minutes. Hi, Janet. Aunt Roxanne, I expect stories and pictures. I got nothing from you two, and I know you two are up to no good in Florida. My 2 aunts are in Florida, y'all, and I know that they are up to no good. So I just want to show you where we're at. So wisteria. This is a pool noodle base. It has a chicken wire for structure underneath that's covered in burlap. We're gonna finish this end to look like that end and add some, whoop, there we go. And add some ribbon. And I promise you, when I get done with this, you will be like, I had no idea there was a pool noodle under there. So I know I only had 30 minutes to transform it, but I at least give you an idea. I'll post the final picture, you'll get to see it. So it was really fun hanging out with y'all. I hope you got some great ideas from everyone else. Hang on, we have more coming. So have a happy Friday. Friday. All right, thanks everybody. Yeah, thanks Mary and Misty. I love a pool noodle, yeah. So I want to see what you guys come up with. Cassandra, thanks. Yeah, I hope you like it. So I will see y'all later. Have a good one. Thanks, y'all. Be kind.